Vindictive victors. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Socialists are so kind and compassionate. They care about people. Well, that's what the ignorant among us believe, because that's how they were programmed. And during his campaign, Mamdani was the perfect salesman for socialism, always smiling, so sweet and funny.
You deserve better. You deserve to be able to raise your family here, to be safe, to travel where you need to, free of costs and worry. You deserve someone who works as hard as you do, who thinks about you every second of the day. That's the kind of mayor I promise to be. New York, will you accept this rose?
Unfortunately, enough voters, most of them foreign-born, by the way, said yes. What they don't know yet, though, is that Mamdani, the rose, is poisonous. New Yorkers may think they voted for progress, but they should prepare for Mamdani-style punishment. Higher taxes, mandated minimum wage hikes are killers for restaurants and hotels. And while targeting millionaires may go over well in Queens, it's just going to end up depleting the tax base. I'll tell you who's smiling tonight. Ron DeSantis is smiling. Now, socialists promise affordability, but they're going to deliver scarcity. They promise dignity, but they'll deliver disappointment. And of course, they promise dialogue, but they'll stamp out dissent. Neither Mamdani nor AOC nor Bernie Sanders like to mention the godfather of socialism much. Of course, we're talking about Karl Marx. But Marx believed a truly classless society required three things. 1, abolishing private property. 2, centralizing the means of production. And 3, crushing dissent. So no one is safe today. Not even a once revered senior senator from New York who supported Mamdani. Over lunch yesterday with AOC, the mayor-elect refused to rule out Chuck Schumer's facing an election challenge. Oops. Well, so much for Chuck Schumer's 40 years of service. The radicals are giddy, they're impatient, and they're ruthless.
I think everybody has to understand what the mood in the country is, that people want fighters.
Should Tuesday's election be a warning to him that he's got to...
Absolutely. I think it should be a warning. Just caving to the easiest road, you know, and not getting a victory, not using our power for what we need to use is I think, is not going to be acceptable.
So you're not calling on Schumer to step aside right now?
I got to go.
I got to go. Got to go. By a vowel. Well, Jayapal Paul's kind of a poor woman's AOC, but everyone's taken their signals from AOC, who, by the way, never wanted to just have a seat at the Democrat table. From day one, she wanted to be at the head of the table. And with Nancy Pelosi retiring, there's no one to stop her. AOC is setting the menu, and she's deciding who gets to eat. Literally, who gets to eat. Because if you thought winning on Tuesday would push them to open the government so that 42 million who are dependent on food stamps can eat, well, you were wrong. Democrats are all sounding like Bernie Sanders now.
I think there's a real gravity to what happened on Tuesday. Voters were telling Democrats they want us to stand up for what we believe in, and they want us to use our power to try to keep costs down.
They're not gracious winners. They're vicious victors. Keeping the government shut down is now their right. They believe it's their eternal right. If flights are canceled at airports, people are inconvenienced, they don't care.
Certainly devastating and certainly inconvenient. Is it more important than 24 million Americans losing their health insurance or not being able to afford their rent? No, that needs to be solved. That's much on the scale of pros and cons. That is what needs to be prioritized.
Oh, she's annoying. Well, centrists are being lobbied on the phone and in person against pushing for any deal with Trump. But Democrats are digging in on their Obamacare demands as well. But the president addressed all of this in the Oval today.
Obamacare is a disaster. The Obamacare premium is going to go up 17 or 18%, and that's not my fault. I didn't want Obamacare. That's the fault of the people that put it in, the Democrats. And now they want it subsidized further.
Of course, he's right. The entire Obamacare fiasco, that's on Democrats' shoulders. Remember, it was supposed to be the Affordable Care Act. We told you at the time it would be unaffordable and lead to scarcity in health care. And by the way, it's the president who is moving on multiple fronts to grow the economy and bring down overall costs.
Energy is way down. Look at energy. We're going to have $2 gasoline. I did that. That brings everything else down. Groceries are way down other than beef. Now, beef is going to come down.
Now, just compare the consumer price index in Trump's first 9 months in office to Biden's. Well, Biden was up at about 4.87. Trump brought the price index down. That means things more affordable by more than half that. But of course, if you want affordable living, and who doesn't, you should know where to find it. And it's not in the cities run by Democrats, I can tell you that. Here's a list of the most expensive urban areas in the United States. 2 boroughs of New York City are in the top 5. Also, of course, San Francisco, San Jose, Boston. Nice job, libs. And we're supposed to believe that Mamdani, with 0 experience in business, guy who's never run anything other than a turntable, has a secret sauce? Now, it doesn't matter how much Mamdani chats up bodega workers or speaks in Arabic or grins on TikTok. His socialist utopia will never exist. It never can. And life in New York, sadly, will get more, not less expensive for the working people. New York isn't in this list of the most expensive states yet. But in a few years after Mamdani, if he gets his way, I bet it will be. And guess what? Today's Democrat Party, they really don't care because most of them know that their policies lead to high crime. And look, they push those policies anyway. And they know things like government-run grocery stores, like that's from the Soviet era, that's going to flop, but they'll let Mamdani prattle on about them anyway. And they know that things like rent freezes are going to lead to less building. That means fewer housing units. But they'll promise it anyway. This is all, in the end, cruel. And it's a hoax. It's vindictive. And it's all about power. It's about getting power, holding on to power, and wielding power. But meanwhile, Trump is actually improving American lives. We know he's removing illegal alien criminals, making everybody safer, and he's lowering prices for prescription meds, including now life-saving weight loss drugs.
The most important step to getting healthy is believing that your life has value, that God meant for each of us to have purpose and joy and to live fully. And to do that, we must be good stewards of our body. And the president has been fighting to provide another tool to do just this and enable this.
Talk about cutting the fat. I love this. Now, going forward, expect the smiling socialists. They're not going to be impressed by any of this. Cheaper drugs, lower energy. No, they're just going to show more of their fangs. Pelosi built the Democrat machine on Capitol Hill, but it's AOC's now. Look, we know that Hakeem Jeffries is a weakling. He's not going to do anything to oppose AOC. And the Midwest governors who are Democrats, they're not tough. Kamala Harris, well, sorry, but she's just an ignoramus. So until the radicals now in power with wind at their back, until they lose and lose badly, they will continue to be vicious and vindictive. And they'll be demanding. And they're going to roll over anyone who gets in their way. And no, by the way, the filibuster, not going to stop them.
You have to end the filibuster. The filibuster is, and they'll do it too. They'll immediately do it. You know, what they're going to do is, what the Democrats will do is they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. They're going to make D.C. a state. They're going to pack the court. They're going to end up with more electoral votes.
This is why Trump has a sense of urgency. He knows what they're capable of doing and what they will do. And as usual, his political instincts are right. And that's the angle.
All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now, all right. All right. Now remember, every time you laugh, an orphan sends me 35 cents. Happy Thursday, everyone. So the incoming mayor for New York City, Zohran Mamdani, has introduced his all-female transition team. At least we think they're female. True, since Zohran won, there have already been a few minor changes to the city. For example, the naked cowboy has already been replaced by the naked goat. And now every play on Broadway is Aladdin. And get this. LaGuardia Airport will now be offering direct flights into the Freedom Tower.
That's the one.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
That it is.
That is a joke. Anyway, the ongoing government shutdown means TSA employees haven't been paid in 36 days. Yeah, so now they're just groping you for tips. Nancy Pelosi announced she will not seek re-election to Congress in 2026. Which coincidentally is when the warranty on her face runs out. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is pressing charges against a man who groped and tried to kiss her on Tuesday. Police have identified the man as Jose Bidenito. According to a Republican California state senator, the city of Costa Mesa had a dog that voted in the last couple elections. They believe the dog voted Democrat because it was castrated. Edgy stuff. 3 Chinese astronauts are temporarily stranded in space after their return capsule was hit by space debris. Luckily, though, Chinese scientists have come up with the perfect thing to plug the hole. Former executive is suing Paramount, claiming they fired him for being too old and white. Well, at least they didn't give his job to a drunk woman. And finally, according to a new poll, 4 in 10 Americans say they believe in ghosts. Especially one man, because wherever he goes, all he hears is boo, boo, boo. All right, here we go. So the new mayor of New York City has proudly announced an all-female transition team. Yep, apparently the city's biggest problem isn't crime, homelessness, or whatever that smell is in Midtown.
Ooh.
It's dudes.
Our team will be directed by Ilana Leopold, Lena Khan, Maria Torres Springer, Grace Bonilla, Melanie Hartzog.
So do 5 women reflect all of New York? Is the entire city female? If it were, God help the city if it were ever attacked by a medium-sized spider. The media, of course, lapped this up like it was a bowl of Alpo in front of Joy Behar. I hear Rachel Maddow got harder than a shark's tooth. Yeah, not so funny now, is it? But this isn't reality. It's nostalgia for a movement that's already been flushed. Identity politics. For a progressive, it seems he's really going backwards. America has moved on, but Zoran hit the brakes. And all those discarded wrappers of wokeism from the back seat just flew back into the front. And Mamdani begged for money to fund it.
Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and an infrastructure that can meet this moment. And it will be made possible by the people who built and believe in this movement. So I hope you'll make a donation at transition2025.com. Now let's get to work.
So Zoran asked voters to send him money so he could implement the free programs that he promised. That's like saying you can have sex with Sydney Sweeney, but first you have to bang Rosie O'Donnell.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'd do it. I don't ever recall being asked to fund a transition team, but if Zoran has his way, New Yorkers will be paying for anyone who wants to transition. He wants to fund trans surgery for minors with $65 million going for gender-affirming care. How's that for affordability? Then there's his victory rally, a political mosh pit of activists screaming about oppression in a city run by left-wing clowns. That's like dogs at the park complaining about the smell of ass. And who among the nuts were cheering Mamdani on? His buddy Hassan Piker, the dog torturer, famous for saying America deserved 9/11. It's a slap in the face to the thousands who perished on 9/11. I guess the city that never sleeps apparently is taking a dirt nap. And during this Antifa speed dating event, Mamdani called out more ethnic groups than a square dance at Ellis Island.
Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties.
Aunties, Uzbek nurses. I saw that video. But sorry, it's not the bodega owners who put him over the top. They're busy shopping at pepperspray.com. It's the overeducated, over-estrogened elites. Zoe won 57% of voters with at least a bachelor's degree. It's not the working class that elected him, but the credentialed class that are unhappy that their dreams didn't pan out. And he cites those ethnic groups under the assumption they all cooperate. I got news for you. A lot of them don't get along. And they won't unless they have a unifying belief, which was the whole point of the melting pot. You could just call them Americans. The problem, most of Zoran's supporters, they hate that label. Because here, diversity trumps patriotism. And yet, why are there so many immigrants in New York City? To make money, which you don't do with free supermarkets or free buses, or defunding the police, or forcing citizens to pay for sex changes. If you want to keep the Yemeni bodegas open, you need capitalism, which Zoran hates. But the credentialed elites like the idea of free buses because they'll never ride them when they become asylums on wheels. They'll feel virtuous about all the illegals because they'll never lose their job to unskilled labor. And they'll still blame crime on root causes when the real root cause is voting to release repeat offenders. New York just hired a woke tribute band, but they don't come cheap. That's what the new left thrives on, not the real-life struggles of working people, but ideas that excite children of privilege who are so brilliant they're stuck with useless college degrees. Those ideas are all they have since the policies always fail. So now they can't afford homes, children, marriages, and the standard of living they so demand. And for that, they're going to take it out on you. Let's welcome tonight's guest. After prostate exams, he says, now it's your turn. Chief Medical Officer at the Wellness Company, Dr. Drew Pinsky. They call him the Michael Jordan of comedy because he should also retire. Comedian Rich Ross. She's like a Slim Jim, thin, spicy, and ready to snap. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor Kat Timm. And old ladies ask him for help walking across the street to their bedroom. Former NWA World Champion and host of the Planet Irish podcast, Irish. So, Dr. Drew, are you, where are you on this? Optimistic, pessimistic, apocalyptic?
As Ukrainian, Belarusian, Scottish male, I have to say that, you know, this whole idea that things are just concept, he has come on the record and said that violence is just a concept. We had violence before we had language.
Yeah.
And now the new plan is to take Rikers Island and make it a criminal rehab social model unit. Mm-hmm. Prediction, riot within a year, take over hostage situation within 2 years. It'll be awesome.
I also think that whatever incident occurs in the city, whether it has to do with ICE or something at a prison or at a campus, he's going to choose the other side. It's going to blow up. You'll have a Minneapolis. I've been through that. Let's move on to the weird guy in the hat. You're a Jew.
Oh. Wait, first of all, you're Jewish. You would never go you're a black. Okay?
He does all the time. Yeah, especially whenever I take his parking spot, first thing he says, you're black.
Yes, I am a Jew.
Are you worried as a Jewish person?
Well, you know, first of all, I live in Jersey, but it does multiply to. Here's the deal.
Yes.
I was so upset when he went. It's like when a girl leaves you, or I felt like a Jets fan, and not only. I knew I was going to come on, and I go, I'm really, really not happy about this. Mm-hmm. And not only his politics, his anti-Semitism, his ego, the fact that during his acceptance speech, he would go after Trump. You're a mayor going after, stay in your lane and get hit by a bus. You see what I'm saying?
Kat, I'm just happy that Rich completed a thought.
I mean, there was a point in there I wasn't sure.
You got a little.
He did lane, bus, a little bit of wordplay there.
Yes.
Listen, let's not dissect. That was an applause break on my opening.
Yes. What do you make of this? I thought that we were over identity politics, but it seems like he's pulling it back in. Is it just because that's the way it's always going to be in cities like New York?
No.
And okay, how about this? Do you buy this whole thing of you celebrate all the different identities as if they're all together?
Yeah, look, one thing that I've noticed in common with a lot of the people who are in my social media circle, you know, the people, once you follow someone, you can never unfollow them because you just can't. It's the people who I'm like, I don't feel like her job matches her apartment.
Yes.
It's all these people where they have their little podcast that no one listens to, or their little YouTube channel that no one watches, and they have this beautiful apartment in New York City, and it's like, oh, you're not worried about your money because it's not your money.
Yes.
It's your dad's money or your mom's money or whatever else. And also, isn't he kind of like that?
Yes.
He's a little rich kid too. So it does take a certain kind of, there are these overeducated people are overeducated, but they also maybe feel bad about that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guilt where people feel like they need to support this person, or I'm a bad person because I had all these advantages and I want other people to. And it's not about being compassionate or not to take money from other people. But it is, I'm not saying it's everyone who supports him, but I'm saying all those people do support him.
And we have socialist islands in this country. They're called colleges and universities.
Yeah.
And people you're talking about spent a lot of time there, and they come to think of it as that's reality.
Well, that's his dad is a professor at Columbia who hates America. His mom was a successful film director. He's never experienced what
You don't know what it was like for him.
That's true.
Gutfeld.
I don't know his
mom
lived
and dad busy all the time. He had to play with the nanny. You know, summer vacations, flying first class by himself. You don't know the intricacies of what this man has gone through. I personally liked his move.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was woke. I thought he set up his excuse panel. Why is everything sucks? Oh, because the whole woman transition.
Blame the ladies.
You know, no free grocery stores. You know what happens when you get 5 of them in a room? Wow. You know, that's what I thought he was doing. You know, I maybe he was being woke, but if it was me, you know, I would have had my fall guy in place.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So maybe that's his. Now with all the transition stuff that's going to go awry and not work, he has his out. Because then be like, well, what are you going to do? I can't fire him. Look, there's 5 women of different ethnicities. I'd get canceled. So I guess we'll just have to go with it. So I think this was just a smooth backup plan.
Yeah.
Didn't New York fire chief resign yet?
Yes.
And since when do Jews put out fires? You don't get that one? Jewish lightning.
Oh, very funny.
A lot of comics don't like to explain their jokes. I have no problem.
No problem, yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
It was good, though.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.